All right, today we're diving into something really cool. Some of the incredibly clever ways Japan is making its highways way smarter, safer, and just better.
You know the feeling, right? You're on a long drive, the road is just this endless ribbon of asphalt, and your eyelids start to feel like they weigh about 100 pounds. You're desperately scanning the signs for a place to pull over, but the next rest area feels like it's a million miles away. And yeah, that's not just you being impatient, it's a real issue. On Japan's expressways, there are about 100 of what you could call rest-stop deserts, stretches over 25 kilometers long with nowhere to pull over. That's a huge safety problem for tired drivers. But, Japan being Japan, they've cooked up some absolutely brilliant solutions.
So first up in their bag of tricks is something called the Smart Interchange, or Smart IC for short. It's a really modern take on highway access.
Okay, so what is a Smart IC? Well, think of it like a simplified, automated express lane onto and off of the highway. The two big things to know are, one, it's only for cars that have an electronic toll collection card, an ETC card. And two, they're often built right into existing rest stops, which is a total game changer when it comes to cost and where they can be placed. And when we talk about cost, the savings are massive. A Smart IC is about 30% cheaper to build and an incredible 50% cheaper to operate compared to a traditional interchange. Why? Because they're unmanned and they take up way less space, so they can be squeezed into the highway network much more easily, filling in those dangerous gaps we were talking about.
And you can see just how simple they can be. Sometimes a Smart IC is literally just a single gate and a small sign. Actually, there's a funny story from one driver who said he was driving in circles inside a service area because the sign for the Smart IC exit was so tiny he just kept missing it. It just goes to show you how low profile they are.
Now, if you're going to use one, there are a few golden rules. First, you absolutely have to have an ETC card. But this next one is the most important part. You have to come to a complete stop at the gate. These aren't like the regular ETC gates you can cruise through. You have to stop, let it read your card, and wait for the gate to open. Also, remember, it's a real exit. You can't just use it to pop into the rest stop for a coffee and then leave.
So these Smart ICs are cool, but they also unlock an even cleverer highway hack, a social experiment that's aimed squarely at fighting driver fatigue.
It's called Kashikoi Ryokin, which translates to smart tolling. And the idea is, well, it's brilliant. What if you could get off the highway to visit a nice rest area that's outside the main expressway, and then get back on without the system thinking you started a brand new trip and resetting your toll? Well, that's exactly what this program lets you do. This means you can take a real, proper break. You can go grab a meal at a local spot, browse some local crafts, whatever, and then just hop back on the highway. For tolling purposes, it's as if you never left. Your entire journey is treated as one continuous trip, so you keep all your long-distance discounts.
But does it really work? I mean, it sounds a little too good to be true, right? That was exactly the question for one driver who decided to put it to the test. You can't blame him for being skeptical. We're all programmed to think that once you exit the highway, that's it. You're paying again to get back on. So he went to see for himself.
Okay, so how does this magic actually work? Let's get into the nitty-gritty, because there are a few things you have to know.
First off, it's important to understand why a system like this is even possible in Japan. It's because the foundation is already there. ETC adoption is at a massive 93.6% nationwide. With pretty much everyone using the system, you can roll out these kinds of advanced data-heavy programs. So, to take advantage of smart tolling, there's a 4-point checklist. First, you need the newer ETC 2.0 device in your car. Second, you have to exit at one of the specially designated interchanges. Third, you have to visit the specific Michino Eki, or roadside station, that's paired with that exit. And finally, you have to get back on the highway at the same interchange heading in the same direction. It's all designed to make sure you're using it for a legit rest stop. And yeah, you're on the clock. You have exactly 2 hours from the moment you exit to when you get back on. Interestingly, they've tinkered with this time limit. It started at 1 hour, then they tried 3, but they looked at the data and found that most people only needed about 2 hours for a good break, so they set it there to make sure the system is used as intended.
And here it is, the proof. This is the actual toll statement from that skeptical driver's test. Now look closely. When he temporarily exited the highway, the screen at the gate showed a charge of 880 yen. You can imagine his confusion. It looks like he's being charged. But on the final bill, you can see the system works its magic. It applies a transfer adjustment, combines the legs of the trip, and the total charge was exactly 1,000 yen, the correct price for the continuous journey.
It worked perfectly.
So this is all really fascinating for drivers, but what does it mean when we zoom out and look at the future of our roads? What's the bigger picture here?
Well, these hacks are so much more than just neat tricks. This is really a win-win-win-win situation. First, and most importantly, it improves driver safety by directly fighting fatigue. It boosts convenience, giving people more options for rest and better access to the highway. It helps the local economy by funneling all that highway traffic and their wallets to local businesses. And it even improves traffic efficiency, because making short trips on the highway easier can take cars off of congested local roads.
And this isn't just some tiny pilot program we're talking about. The smart tolling experiment is already up and running at 23 locations across Japan, and they've got another 6 in the works. This is a successful, growing initiative, and it shows a real commitment to building smarter, safer roads.
It's just a fantastic example of using technology to solve a very, very human problem. Just being tired. And that kind of gets you thinking, right? As our roads and our cities get smarter, what's that one daily hassle in your life that you wish technology would just come along and solve next? Let us know what you think. Thanks for tuning in.